Here's what most agents do wrong with Reels. They think they have to film a video, edit it, and then post it. They spend hours on something that could be done in minutes. That mistake costs them reach, consistency, and time. If you're not auto-generating these, you're doing it wrong. This is Real Estate Agent Marketing, the show about learning systematic marketing strategies. I'm Mikey, and today we're talking about how to auto-generate video reels that work for your listings. No videographer, no editing, just a few photos and some structure. The core idea of this lesson is simple but powerful. Reels are the reach engine for real estate. Static posts build recognition, but short-form video expands who sees your content. The good news? You don't need a videographer or an editor to build these. A few photos, some specs, and a template can get you one reel per active listing, yes, every single one, without any extra cost in time or effort. What makes this work is the numbered reason carousel structure translated into video. It's not just about showing a house. It's about delivering 3 punchy reasons why someone should care, each with a photo and a few seconds of screen time. The algorithm loves this because it gives viewers a reason to watch all the way through. First, open with the status badge and address in the first second just listed, 123 Oak Street. That's your hook. Then, show 3 reasons, 1 photo each. First reason is standout feature, second is layout, third is location. That's it. Keep everything under 20 seconds to maintain completion rate. Then end with a single, specific CTA card, schedule a viewing today. This cadence alone will give you more video than most agents have ever posted. You need 1 reel per active listing and 1 per open house. That's the sweet spot. It's low effort, high return, and it builds a consistent stream of content across your feed. Now here's how to do it step by step. Step 1. Prep your photos and specs. You want at least 3 good shots for each listing, 1 for each reason. You'll also need the listing details like bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and any standout features. If you have a recent photo of the backyard or kitchen, that's your first reason shot. Step 2. Build your reel template. Use the structure, just listed, hook, 3 reasons with photos, CTA card at the end. The template should be a single frame in your editing app or software that you can duplicate and tweak. Step 3. Populate your content. Pick the top 3 features. Reason 1 is the standout feature. Reason 2 is the layout. Reason 3 is the location. Make sure each reason is short, punchy, and tied to a photo. Step 4. Record or generate. Most tools now let you do this without even touching a camera. Just upload your photos, add text over them, and loop in a few seconds of background music. Or even better, use one of the AI video tools. They can take your content and build it into a reel in under a minute. Step 5. Post. You're not editing or waiting for someone else to do this. You're building a system where every new listing gets its own video in less than 10 minutes. No exceptions. But here's what people get wrong, and it costs them real results. First, they don't keep reels under 20 seconds. That drop-off in completion rate is huge. Every extra second past that limit hurts your algorithm score, and it makes viewers scroll past you before they even see the third reason. Second, they don't use a consistent structure. Without the numbered reason carousel, you're just dumping features without creating a narrative. The algorithm rewards content that keeps people watching, not content that feels like a list. Third, they treat reels like static posts. They try to cram everything into 1 reel. That's wrong. Focus on 3 reasons, and let each reason speak for itself. Let the video do the work of telling the story, not trying to show everything. Fourth, they don't post enough. 1 reel per listing is not enough. You need that consistent cadence, 1 reel per active listing and 1 per open house. That's what builds your reach and shows potential buyers that you're active, reliable, and organized. And the last mistake, they don't use templates. If you're manually building each reel, it's slow, inconsistent, and error-prone. The whole point is to build a system where the marginal cost of a new reel is nearly 0. Now, let me tell you why this structure actually works better than anything else out there. The winning reel format for real estate is the numbered reason carousel translated to video. Reason 1 is the standout feature, reason 2 is the layout, reason 3 is the location. Each reason gets a few seconds on screen with the property photo behind it. This structure works because it gives the viewer a reason to keep watching to the end, which is exactly what the algorithm rewards. The reason you go with this format over anything else is simple. The brain processes information in chunks. When someone sees 3 reasons that explain why they should care about your home, it's easier for them to process and remember that information than a long list of features. It's not just about showing the house, it's about creating value. Let me go deeper into what makes this format so effective. When you break down a property into these 3 reasons, you're actually addressing the psychological triggers that influence buying decisions. The standout feature is your attention grabber, that one thing that makes this home different from others on the market. The layout reason addresses the practical needs of potential buyers. It's about flow and function, about how a space works for people. This reason speaks to those who want to know how they can actually live in this space, and the location reason is about future value. It's about where this home sits within a community, what schools are nearby, if it's in a desirable area or close to amenities. People want to know that when they buy this house, they're making an investment. This format also helps with SEO and discoverability. When you're putting out content like 1, spacious backyard perfect for family gatherings, or 2, open concept layout creates seamless flow, those phrases are naturally searchable. They show up in people's feeds because search engines recognize them as valuable, relevant content. You're not just creating more video, you're creating more discoverable content. The power of the numbered reason carousel isn't just in the structure, it's in the storytelling. It creates a narrative arc that guides viewers through what they should care about. If someone scrolls past your first reason and sees another one, they're curious to find out what the third one is. But here's where people often fall short. They don't make each reason specific enough. If you say this house has a great backyard, but don't show what makes it great or tell them exactly why that matters, whether it's because of the privacy or how it connects to other parts of the yard, then you're not giving viewers a compelling reason to watch to the end. And it's important to remember that when someone watches your reel, they're probably not looking at it for 5 minutes. They're scrolling through their feed and looking for something that grabs their attention within seconds. That's why each reason needs to be punchy and immediately valuable. Let me tell you what happens when people get the structure right and how it affects their actual results. A lot of agents I work with tell me they've been posting reels for months, but they're not seeing growth or engagement. What they don't realize is that they're not following this structure. They're making reels that look like static posts, just a bunch of photos with maybe a little text here and there, no consistent flow. If you do it right, though, the results are noticeable. You're not just building content, you're building a system that works. Each reel is built on the same foundation, so your audience knows what to expect. That consistency builds trust and recognition. And when people know that every time they see one of your reels, they'll get something valuable, they're more likely to engage. What I see most often is agents who think they have to show everything. They want to include the updated kitchen, the solar panels, the new roof, the garage, the backyard. The problem is, if you try to fit all that into a 20-second reel, you're not really showing anything in detail. You're just giving them a list of features without any real value or context. So focus on those 3 reasons and make sure they're compelling. If you're trying to sell a home with a great backyard, tell them exactly what makes it special. Is it the privacy? The space for entertaining? The landscaping? That specific detail makes the difference between someone watching your entire reel versus scrolling past it. The key is understanding that this is a storytelling device, not just a feature list. Each reason should create a mini story within the larger story of why this home matters. If you're saying the house has great layout, then show them how it flows from room to room. Not just a photo of the living room, but a transition between rooms that shows the flow. This approach also makes your content much more shareable. When someone watches a reel and gets 3 clear reasons why they should care, they're more likely to share it with their friends or family who might be looking for homes. The story is compelling enough that it doesn't just get watched, it gets passed along. It's not about being fancy or having expensive equipment either. It's about being consistent and strategic. When you build this system properly, every new listing becomes an opportunity to get in front of people who haven't seen your work before. That's the real power of the Reel Engine. But don't just take my word for it. Let me show you what happens with a good hook versus one that's not working. Crafting the perfect hook is critical because it determines whether someone watches the rest of your reel or scrolls past it. The first second of a reel sets the tone and gets attention. The most effective hooks start with "just listed," followed by the address, because it immediately tells viewers this home is new and relevant. It's not just information, it's a status badge that says this is fresh and you need to pay attention. If you're working on an open house or have other time-sensitive details, you might use something like "Open House Today, 2 p.m." instead of the standard format, but keep it simple. Don't overthink the hook, because if someone can't immediately understand what's going on in the first few seconds, they'll just scroll. When I'm working with agents who are struggling to get traction, I always ask about their hooks. Often they're using long, complicated phrases that don't clearly communicate value. One agent told me he was doing "This beautiful home features modern updates and a large backyard." That's fine as background information, but it's not attention-grabbing enough for the first second of a video. A better hook might be "Just listed, 4-bed home with renovated kitchen, perfect for families." Or if there's an exciting detail like a new addition or renovation, use that. "Newly renovated kitchen. This home is a must-see." But remember, the hook needs to match your actual content. If you start with "just listed," but then spend all your time on the backyard and never mention the kitchen, viewers will feel misled. One of my favorite hooks is when an agent has a listing that's really unique or special. For example, if it's in a gated community or has rare features like a pool or views, start with that. "This home offers private pool access, perfect for entertaining." That immediately creates intrigue. The key is that your hook should be something you can repeat consistently, but make different enough so it doesn't feel generic. You want to keep the structure the same, "just listed," plus address, but vary the specific selling point to match what's most interesting about each property. And remember, the visual cues are just as important as the words. If you're showing a photo of the backyard in the hook, it helps set that expectation and gives people a reason to continue watching. When someone sees a home with a pool or a view, they're more likely to watch a reel about it if they know right away that's what they'll see. It creates anticipation. The length of your reel matters more than you might think, especially for building reach and engagement. The optimal time is under 20 seconds because that's the sweet spot for completion rate. If you're going over that limit, you're losing viewers before they even get to the third reason. Studies show that drop-off happens quickly. Just 5 seconds after the start of a reel, a lot of people are already scrolling past. That's why it's so important to keep the pacing tight. Think about it this way. People aren't watching reels for information they can get anywhere else. They're watching because they're looking for something quick and valuable. If your reel is too long, it starts feeling like a chore instead of entertainment. When you're under 20 seconds, you're not just trying to be brief, you're creating a rhythm. Each reason gets about 6 or 7 seconds to make its point. That's enough time to show the photo, state the reason, and let people process what they've seen before moving on. This tight structure also helps with algorithm performance. The more complete your reel is, the better it performs. If someone watches 100% of your video, that shows the algorithm that you're providing quality content. It's not just about how long you take, it's about what happens during that time. If someone sees a 2-minute reel that starts with a hook and then goes into a very slow-paced, feature-heavy format, they'll probably watch the first 30 seconds or so before getting bored. That's why it's critical to keep things moving quickly while still delivering value. Another benefit of the short format is that it allows you to post more frequently. You don't need to spend hours on each reel. If you're doing one per listing and one per open house, that's already a lot of content. But if you can do them faster, you can get even more out of your time. And let me be clear, there's no magic formula here. If you're running over 20 seconds because it takes longer to explain something, then that's the problem. It's not about having too much content. It's about making sure every second counts. One technique I've seen agents use successfully is to build in a bit of visual movement or change. Don't just hold one photo for the whole reason. Move the camera slightly or do a quick zoom in or out. That keeps viewers engaged and makes your reel feel more dynamic. Another thing to consider: don't worry about making each reason exactly 7 seconds long. Sometimes it works better if you let one reason take slightly longer if it's more important or interesting. The main point is that all 3 reasons should be given enough time for people to understand what they're seeing. The key is balancing value and brevity. You want to give them something compelling in each reason without taking too much time to get there. Let me give you some examples of how this actually plays out in practice. One agent I worked with was struggling because her reels weren't getting any engagement. She'd include everything: the kitchen, the backyard, the garage, the updates, but she never stuck to the 3 reasons structure. Once we implemented the numbered reason carousel, she saw an immediate boost in performance. She went from maybe 5 or 10 views on each reel to 50 or 60 within a couple of weeks. It was like turning on a light switch. What changed was that she started with just listed 123 Oak Street and then went directly into 3 clear reasons. Her first reason was always about the standout feature. In this case, it was the updated kitchen with high-end appliances. She'd show a photo of the kitchen, say, "The heart of this home is its stunning kitchen with stainless steel appliances," and then she'd move to the second reason, which was layout. For layout, she'd focus on how the open concept design made the space feel larger and more functional for families. It wasn't just about showing the rooms, it was about showing how people would use them. That's why she added specific descriptions that tied directly to visual elements. The third reason was location. She'd always mention something about schools or neighborhoods because that's what most of her buyers cared about. What made it work wasn't just the structure, but how specific each reason was. Instead of saying, "This house has a great backyard," she'd say, "Private backyard, perfect for family gatherings." That makes it memorable and actionable. And here's the cool part: she didn't have to change anything else in her system. She still used the same photos and specs, just structured differently. The difference was in how she presented them. One of the most effective things she did was make sure each reel had a clear, specific CTA at the end. "Schedule a viewing today," or "Contact me for more details." That gave viewers something concrete to do after watching. She also added music to her reels, which helped with pacing and energy. The right background track can make even a simple photo reel feel dynamic and professional. Another example was an agent who used to spend hours editing videos because he thought he needed a professional look. After we taught him how to use templates and auto-generate the reels, he cut his video creation time by 80%. He went from spending 3 hours per listing to less than 30 minutes. That's what real efficiency looks like. He was also able to post more frequently because he wasn't waiting for a special time or event to make videos. Every new listing got its own reel automatically, which meant more exposure across his feed. These agents didn't change their photography or anything else about how they worked. They just changed how they presented their content. That's the beauty of this system. It works with your existing workflow, not against it. The key is that these are real results, not just theory. They're seeing actual engagement and more leads from using this structure consistently. They're getting more views, more shares, more interest in their listings, and they're doing it without spending extra time or money. That's what happens when you apply a system that works rather than trying to make everything perfect. So here's the one rule that matters. Keep your reels under 20 seconds, use the numbered reason carousel structure, and post 1 per active listing and 1 per open house. That's it. That's the system. The rest is just filling in the blanks with your own content. If you're not auto-generating your reels now, you're missing a massive opportunity. I'm Mikey. Go build your video system. Don't wait for someone else to show you how. The course is at learn.mikey.ai.